Some treasures were meant to be wielded. Others were meant to be destroyed just to reveal the truth hidden within. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. When the golden lock shattered, its radiant glow faded, instantly dissolving into nothingness. Countless fragments scattered across the ground, leaving behind only a single drop of golden liquid resting quietly in Wang Lin's palm. The way Wang Lin crushed it was nothing short of masterful. With precise control, he destroyed the treasure without harming the golden liquid within in the slightest. Had the former owner witnessed this, he would have drawn a sharp breath, his heart aching in disbelief. Though the messenger had never regarded this treasure as especially precious, it was something he used frequently. Had it been him, he would never have brought himself to destroy it. He knew that something within the treasure granted it power, yet he lacked the resolve to break it apart to uncover its essence. In truth, not only him, even an illusory yin or corporeal yang cultivator would feel a pang of regret witnessing Wang Lin's actions. After all, destroying a treasure only to obtain something inferior or even worthless would be the height of folly. Yet if a first-step cultivator had seen this scene, they would not feel regret but shock, overwhelming, incomprehensible shock. It must be said that if such a treasure had appeared on Suzaku 800 years ago, it would have stirred a storm across the cultivation world. Even Zhuge himself would have intervened. Unknowingly, after 1,000 years of cultivation, Wang Lin had reached such a realm. He could crush a treasure like this without hesitation, merely to glimpse the spell sealed within. Over those 1,000 years, not only had his cultivation advanced, but so too had his vision. Few treasures could still catch his interest. Those that remained in his possession were kept either out of sentiment or because they had accompanied him through his long journey. No matter how insignificant a treasure might be, if it could attract the attention of a messenger from the Thunder Celestial Temple, it would at least be of celestial grade. Yet Wang Lin had crushed it as casually as one might discard dust, without the slightest flicker of regret. As he gazed at the golden liquid between his fingers, Wang Lin's eyes gleamed. A crack opened between his brows, revealing his third eye. Crimson light spread outward, enveloping the golden drop. Under the scrutiny of the third eye, the liquid began to dissipate, slowly returning to its origin, though its pace was sluggish. After a while, the red glow dimmed, yet only half of the liquid had vanished. How strange! It endures this long under the third eye. Wang Lin's gaze sharpened. Without hesitation, he poured origin energy into the third eye, despite the heavy strain. The crimson light surged, blazing brighter than before. This time the golden liquid dissolved more rapidly. Soon it unraveled into countless delicate threads of gold. These threads intertwined, weaving themselves into an intricate rune of breathtaking complexity. The rune persisted for only 3 breaths before collapsing entirely, leaving nothing behind. "Rune," Wang Lin murmured deep in thought. He slapped his storage bag, summoning the celestial brush. His hand moved fluidly as he began to draw. Moments later, a rune identical to the one formed from the golden threads appeared before him. Wang Lin stared at it, eyes gleaming. Yet there was no aura, no fluctuation, nothing remarkable about it. He frowned. Then suddenly his expression shifted, his gaze sharpened. After a moment he closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, a trace of shock flickered within. My divine sense cannot detect it. A decisive light flashed across his eyes. Raising his left hand, he pointed toward the rune. It lifted into the air and shot toward the mosquito beast circling above. The mosquito had been flying happily, but the moment it sensed danger, its entire body stiffened. It was about to flee, but under the gentle restraint of Wang Lin's divine sense, it hesitated. Frozen in place, it watched as the rune approached. The rune flashed, imprinting itself onto the mosquito. Instantly, it shattered into golden liquid that wrapped tightly around the creature. The mosquito struggled, violently breaking free, only after several breaths. It flared into the distance, casting a resentful glance at Wang Lin as it let out a pitiful cry. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He had used only 10% of his origin energy when drawing the rune, yet its power was already formidable. If he were to use his full strength, its might would undoubtedly be terrifying. Putting away the celestial brush, Wang Lin pondered briefly before understanding dawned upon him. The true power of the treasure lies in this rune. While sealed within its full strength could not be unleashed, but through the brush, I can bring out its true potential. For others, unless they possessed a divine ability, like the third eye to perceive origins, even if they extracted the golden liquid, they would gain nothing. This is the first time I've obtained something like this from a magic treasure, Wang Lin said softly. Since it acts as a seal, I'll call it the seal rune. He practiced drawing it several more times, engraving it deeply into his mind. Then a thought struck him. If this seal rune came from a treasure, then perhaps I can also embed it into one to enhance its power. A mysterious light flickered in his eyes, his heart stirred. Most of my treasures were acquired, not refined. He opened his mouth and spat out a grain of sand. It expanded instantly into a massive fragment stamp. Staring at it, the light in his eyes deepened. This was once a fragment of the celestial realm, refined through divine retribution. Even celestial Lord Qing Shui could not damage it. Its durability is unmatched. Yet it is incomplete. Its attacks rely solely on imprisoning with celestial energy. Its true power is lacking. It cannot compare to the lethal force of the Wither Dao pair, nor the god-slaying war chariot. He summoned the celestial brush once more. With a flick of his wrist, a seal rune appeared. Then I shall grant it a spell, a sealing spell. With a sharp motion, the rune flew into the fragment and fused with it. He did not stop. Ascending into the air, Wang Lin continued drawing one rune after another, each embedding itself into the fragment. Faster, faster still. His movements blurred into after-images as he circled the fragment like a storm. Thunder-like echoes rolled across the plains. As his mastery grew, each stroke no longer produced a single rune, but dozens, and all of them merged seamlessly into the fragment. Wang Lin felt no fatigue. He did not pause. In his world, nothing existed but the fragment and the endless stream of seal runes he inscribed upon it. Time passed. An unknown number of runes accumulated. The fragment began to emit a faint golden glow. Still, Wang Lin did not stop. 3 days later, he descended to the ground, his face pale. He immediately began cultivating. Even with his cultivation, the relentless consumption of origin energy had pushed him to his limits. The 1,000-foot fragment had shrunk to 800 feet. After several hours, he opened his eyes and began again. Time flowed like water. 7 times he rested. The fragment shrank 500 feet, 400, 300, until only 100 feet remained. Its golden glow deepened, radiant and blinding, like a miniature sun. The moment Wang Lin saw it, all fatigue vanished. His eyes burned with excitement. After a brief rest, he rose once more. This time 5 days. 5 relentless days of refinement. When he finally descended, his face was deathly pale, his steps unsteady. But the light in his eyes had reached its peak. From this day forward, this is a treasure forged by my own hands. I shall name it Celestial Sealing Stamp. His voice echoed across the heavens. Before him hovered a 3-inch stamp blazing with dazzling golden light. To a mortal, that light alone would pierce the eyes and shatter the mind. Even low-level cultivators would feel their minds tremble as if pierced by countless blades. And for the powerful, it would feel as though their very origin soul was being sealed. The stamp shone brilliantly, brimming with celestial energy. Around it lingered an overwhelming sealing aura. After a month of refinement, Wang Lin had fused no fewer than 600,000 seal runes into it. 600,000 runes, condensed from a 1,000-foot fragment into a mere 3 inches. The power within it was beyond question. As Wang Lin gazed upon it, his hands moved swiftly, placing restrictions upon the stamp. Gradually, its radiant energy and terrifying aura were concealed. Moments later, its power was completely hidden. Thus, a treasure destined to shake the cultivation world. The celestial sealing stamp was born. Wang Lin looked at the now unassuming stamp, its appearance no different from an ordinary treasure, and his eyes shone brightly. This is exactly the kind of treasure I envisioned. He opened his mouth and the celestial sealing stamp flew inside, sinking deep into him to be refined by the thunder within his origin soul. Given enough time, this treasure will surely come to contain the thunder of my origin soul itself. After swallowing the stamp, Wang Lin's eyes gleamed. He raised his hand and tapped his bag of holding. Instantly, 3 purple flags shot out, intertwining as they hovered in the air. Layers of restrictions flickered across them like ripples of light. Not long ago, the messenger from the Thunder Celestial Temple had been sealed within these very flags. Wang Lin formed a seal with his hand. With a single point of his finger, the restrictions unraveled. The moment they vanished, the messenger's origin soul burst free. Terror filled his eyes. Without hesitation, he attempted to teleport away the instant he regained freedom. But Wang Lin's gaze turned icy. He slapped his bag of holding once more. The 1 billion soul flag emerged, expanding into a vast, roiling black cloud. It surged forward like a devouring abyss, swallowing the messenger's origin soul whole. "Spare me, fellow cultivator!" the messenger screamed from within the darkness, struggling desperately. "I'll trade you a precious treasure for my life." Wang Lin's expression remained cold as frost. His voice was calm, yet utterly devoid of warmth. "What treasure?" "The all-heaven stone," the messenger cried out in panic. "I know where you can find one. If you let me live, I'll take you there immediately." Wang Lin's face remained expressionless. His right hand formed a seal. The black cloud churned violently, and in the next instant, the messenger's origin soul was completely devoured, sealed forever within the flag. "All heaven stone," Wang Lin murmured, pondering briefly before dismissing the thought altogether. His gaze shifted to the 3 purple flags still floating in the air. With a casual motion, he reached out. As the flags fell into his hand, he exhaled a thread of origin essence, refining them. He erased the previous owner's divine sense and imprinted his own before storing them away. Then he closed his eyes, contemplating. This is a rare defensive treasure. Half the time it takes for an incense stick to burn past. Suddenly his eyes lit up. He tossed the 3 flags into the air once more. They spun rapidly around him, forming a swirling purple vortex that wrapped tightly around his body, radiating a subtle yet unmistakable defensive power. Origin energy surged from within him into the vortex. At once it transformed. The vortex accelerated violently. Dense purple mist spread outward, engulfing him entirely until he was no longer visible within. After 3 breaths, the mist dissipated. Wang Lin waved his hand, recalling the 3 flags back into his bag. "This treasure is quite remarkable." He reached into his bag again. 2 yellow talismans appeared in his hand. Even now he could not see through their secrets. After studying them for a long moment, he stored them away. Taking a deep breath, Wang Lin's expression turned solemn. His divine sense spread outward, sweeping through a 5-kilometer radius. Only after confirming that nothing was amiss did he reach once more into his bag. A flash of golden light burst forth. Celestial spiritual energy flooded the surroundings as a small pavilion, no larger than his palm, appeared in his hand. The moment his eyes fell upon it, his heartbeat quickened. Excitement flickered uncontrollably within his gaze. If I were to name the greatest gain from my journey into the Thunder Celestial realm, it would be this, the collection pavilion. He licked his lips, barely able to contain himself. Ever since obtaining it, he had not dared to take it out, such was its value. How many celestial spells lie within it? His eyes burned with desire, but just as quickly he suppressed it. With my current cultivation, I can only enter the 4th floor. Even with the woman in white, I may reach the 9th, but I would still be unable to break the restrictions to obtain the spells. And this treasure is far too valuable. It may even limit the number of times one can enter. This place is not entirely safe. I cannot risk studying it here. With effort, he quelled the longing in his heart. Taking a deep breath, he placed the pavilion back into his bag. But after a moment's hesitation, he took it out again. Using the sealing technique he had learned long ago, he reduced its size until it was no larger than a fingernail. He then took out a spare storage bag, placed the pavilion inside, and without hesitation opened his shirt. With a swift motion, he cut open his chest. He inserted the bag directly into his body. Under the nourishment of his origin energy, the wound closed instantly, leaving no trace behind. This way, no one will ever know where the collection pavilion is. Wang Lin touched his chest and allowed himself a faint smile. He still carried several storage bags filled with celestial jade, an immense quantity, all harvested from the Thunder Celestial Realm. After nearly 2 months, Wang Lin had finally sorted through all the gains from this journey. It is time to leave. He rose into the air. The mosquito beast cried out cheerfully, lifting him as it flew toward the distant buildings. On the ground, the thunder toad rolled its eyes before leaping forward, with a thunderous boom following behind. As they approached the living grounds of the chosen immortal clan, Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. Everyone was gathered in the central square, men, women, children. At the center stood a 30-foot wooden platform, and upon it lay Taran. His complexion was ashen, his eyes dim, his life flickering like a dying flame. A heavy aura of death clung to him. It was clear that he stood at the brink. Wang Lin fell silent. 2 months ago, he had already seen it. Taran was like a lamp without oil. The slave imprint within him ran deep, etched into his very bloodline. It would not allow defiance. And yet, Taran had defied it. He was the first. But the cost was everything. The tattoos across his body had turned against him, backlashing with devastating force. Survival had become impossible. He had endured for 2 months. But now, his end had come. Beside him, the clan's elder stood grief-stricken. Tears streamed down his face. "Grandson," he whispered softly. It had been so long since he last called him that. Silence blanketed the square, heavy with sorrow. Every gaze rested on Taran, filled with grief. "Taran, Taran!" Whispers rose softly, merging into one voice, the voice of the entire clan. Taran. In their hearts, he was their hero. When none dared resist, he stood alone. He proved that the slave imprint was not absolute, that it could be defied, even if the price was his life. Taran's consciousness drifted, fading in and out. His dim eyes gazed at the sky as distant voices echoed in his ears, memories of childhood. "The Celestials are our masters. Our purpose is to serve them. This is our pride, our glory." Tears slid from the corners of his eyes. He hated it. He hated this unjust world. He hated the Celestials. Wang Lin descended quietly, landing at the edge of the square. He watched in silence. The old man clenched his teeth, his grief turning into something fiercer. Suddenly he turned. Facing the clan, he roared. "Taran was right. For generations we have guarded this place. What have we gained? Only death. Countless of our people devoured by fog beasts. And why? Because of the Celestials. In their eyes, we are nothing but food for those beasts." The square fell into utter silence. But beneath that silence, something was stirring. Something was awakening. "Taran told me. The celestial realm no longer exists. It has long since collapsed. I hid this truth. Until now." His eyes were wild, teetering on the edge of madness. The moment those words fell, the entire clan erupted in shock, and the force within them grew. "Benefactor, am I right?" The old man's gaze snapped toward Wang Lin. At once every eye followed. All waited. Ever since Wang Lin slew the Celestial 2 months ago, the old man had called him Benefactor. Wang Lin remained silent for a long moment. Then he nodded. The Celestial realm has indeed collapsed. True Celestials are now exceedingly rare. The old man trembled with excitement. Then why should we endure this any longer? Even if we die, we should die with dignity, like Taran. His voice carried an ancient power, striking deep into the souls of the clan members. Their eyes ignited, no longer submission, but defiance. "Revolt," someone whispered. Then another. "Revolt, revolt." Voices rose one after another until they became a storm of rebellion. Wang Lin watched deep in thought. Then his gaze fell upon Taran. After a long silence, he spoke softly. "I can prevent his death." Though quiet, his words struck like thunder. The clan trembled. The old man rushed forward, stopping 10 feet before Wang Lin, then fell to his knees. Tears streamed down his face. "Benefactor, is it true?" Wang Lin pondered briefly, then spoke slowly. "I am 50% certain, but if I succeed, he will not die." A pause. "However, he will become a puppet devoid of consciousness. Whether he can awaken again will depend entirely on himself." While the old man stood in silent contemplation, Taran, lying weakly upon the wooden platform, spoke in a faint, trembling voice. "I am willing." Wang Lin's expression remained calm. With a single step, he appeared beside the platform. His gaze fell upon Tarshan's shattered body, teetering on the brink of death. There were no longer any tattoos upon his skin. Every single one had already sunk into his body, becoming the very force that was now killing him. Wang Lin spoke evenly, his tone steady and unyielding. "This spell demands absolute resolve. The one being refined must possess an unwavering heart, complete willingness, without even the slightest trace of hesitation. Otherwise, it will fail without question." A bitter smile appeared on Tarshan's pale face. "There is no need to say more," he whispered weakly. "I am willing." Wang Lin did not waste another breath. He grabbed Taran and stepped into the void, vanishing into the distance. As he disappeared, his voice echoed faintly behind him. "Do not disturb me for 3 months." The old man stared at the place where Wang Lin had vanished, his expression filled with complexity. After a long moment, he clenched his teeth and turned toward the gathered clan. "In 3 months, regardless of Tarshan's fate, we will attack the mysterious Yin furnace and leave this place." Wang Lin returned to the desolate plain where he had once refined treasures. He gently placed Taran upon the ground. Opening his mouth, he expelled a strand of essence origin energy. It wrapped around Taran, enveloping him like a cocoon. Then Wang Lin took out the 1 billion soul flag. With a flick, something was shaken free from within. A heavenly ghost. The moment it appeared, it let out a furious roar, struggling violently to break free. Wang Lin pointed calmly. The Karma whip materialized instantly, lashing down several times. Each strike tore through the ghost, forcing it to release agonized wails. At the same time, Wang Lin's eyes shone. He opened another storage bag, and an immense quantity of celestial jades spilled forth, saturating the surroundings with dense celestial energy. But he did not stop there. After a brief moment of thought, he produced more than 10 skulls. Each skull was etched with complex, flickering runes. These were the skulls of the Forsaken Immortal clan, from planet Suzaku. Wang Lin looked at Taran, who lay within the cocoon of origin energy, and spoke calmly. "I will use celestial jades to nourish your body, the heavenly ghost to help you form a soul, and the skulls of your ancestors to complete your tattoos. Taran, I will grant you a great fortune." A pause. "If even this fails, then it is not that I lacked effort, only that your fate was insufficient." Time passed like flowing water. More than 2 months slipped by. On this day, the plain where Wang Lin resided erupted with a thunderous roar so loud that even the distant chosen immortal clan could hear it. They all flew out at once. The first to react was the old man. In these 2 short months, he had aged dramatically. His face was haggard, as though years had passed. The plain was shrouded in dust. From within it, a figure emerged. A man 20 feet tall. Each step he took resounded like thunder, shaking the very earth beneath him. He was broad and imposing, with thick brows and a body that radiated a golden glow. He stood like a towering giant. There were no tattoos upon his body, except for one. Between his brows was an incomparably complex tattoo. Its intricacy defied comprehension. A single glance was enough to make one dizzy. Yet within the giant's eyes, there was intelligence. As he stepped out from the dust, Wang Lin followed behind him, his face faintly pale, his expression touched with exhaustion. He looked at the giant's back, and a trace of regret flickered within his eyes. Unfortunately, he only reached the peak of the corporeal Yang stage. He could not break through into the Nirvana Scrya stage. Wang Lin moved and appeared atop the giant's shoulder. The giant strode forward, heading toward the chosen immortal clan. I didn't expect that the vast amount of celestial jades would not only restore Tarshan's body, but also cause it to grow to such a size. And the heavenly ghost was crucial. Without it, the second step would have failed instantly. Standing upon the giant's shoulder, Wang Lin sank into thought. In every successful refinement of a celestial guard, I have used a heavenly ghost. Could there be a connection? Does it increase the chance of success? As he pondered, the giant's strides grew longer each step, spanning hundreds of feet, moving like a gale across the land. And those ancestral skulls, their mystery runs deep. During refinement, they merged into a single tattoo. In the distance, the chosen immortal clan arrived. They stared at the towering figure in stunned silence. The old man's body trembled with excitement as he rushed forward. Taran, but the giant's expression was cold. He did not even look at him. At Wang Lin's command, he stopped and stood motionless. Wang Lin stepped down from his shoulder. "Benefactor, Tasyame," Wang Lin spoke calmly. "I told you before, I am not certain whether his consciousness would recover. He has not died, but whether he can awaken will depend on himself." He had not lied. Tarshan's consciousness had not been erased, only shattered, scattered within his body. The old man was stunned, about to speak. But Wang Lin cut him off. He had stayed here far too long. "Open the altar gate. I am leaving." His tone allowed no argument. The old man looked once more at Tarshan, then lowered his head respectfully. Wang Lin stepped forward, heading toward the altar. Along the way, he recalled the thunder toad and mosquito beast. Tarshan followed closely behind. The old man sighed, leading the rest of the clan after them. As they passed the buildings, women and children emerged, joining the procession. Together they moved toward the altar. Soon Wang Lin stood before its gate. Without waiting for an order, the old man formed a seal. The plant between his brows shone brightly, flying out to land upon the gate. With a deep rumble, the massive door slowly rose. The moment it opened, a sharp, piercing scream erupted from within. It was like countless blades tearing through the air. Wang Lin's eyes flashed. With a slap of his bag, the 3 purple flags flew out, spinning rapidly to form a protective vortex. The scream shattered upon contact. "Tarshan, destroy it." At Wang Lin's command, Tarshan surged forward, entering the passage. His punch struck out, far more powerful than before his transformation. A sonic boom echoed through the tunnel. The black mist within scattered violently, retreating like a storm driven away. Wang Lin's eyes turned cold. This time, he would leave, no matter what. He shot forward like lightning. Behind him, the entire chosen immortal clan followed. At the end of the passage lay the mysterious Yin furnace. The woman's shadow whirled wildly around Tarshan, screaming relentlessly. But Tarshan was unaffected. His origin soul had already fused with his body. He was now a celestial god. The scream could not harm him. As for Wang Lin, the ancient god leather armor protected his soul completely. The scream collapsed the moment it touched it. Seeing Wang Lin, the shadow abandoned Tarshan and lunged toward him with a furious wail, intent on tearing him apart. Wang Lin sneered. The purple flag surged forward, forming a vortex that clashed against the attack. At the same time, Wang Lin stepped forward, arriving beside the furnace. Tarshan followed instantly, their minds linked. Without hesitation, he struck, a punch filled with the hatred of countless years. The tattoo between his brows flashed, flying into his fist. The strike carried the power of a spell. Boom! The entire altar trembled. Cracks spread across the furnace like a spider web. The shadow shrieked in madness, charging forward desperately to stop him. But Tarshan did not pause. Another punch. Another thunderous impact. The mysterious Yin furnace shattered, Fragments scattered as dense black gas surged forth, only to be sucked rapidly into the transfer array. Along with it, the woman's shadow. Wang Lin's eyes flashed. Without hesitation, he stepped onto the array and shouted, "Shu Li Guo, are you still not returning?" One clan member trembled as black gas emerged from his brow, transforming into Shu Li Guo. After a lingering moment of indulgence, he flew toward Wang Lin. Taran followed. They vanished. The altar fell silent. Dust crumbled from above, on the verge of collapse. The old man looked at his people. Then he stepped forward. One by one, the clan followed. They were leaving, the place they had guarded for generations, far away within the dark void of the nether beast. A massive formation formed from dark red blood floated silently. Black gas rose from it, flowing into a crystal coffin at its center. Inside lay a young man, handsome, no more than 20, sleeping as if untouched by time. Nearby, a black-robed figure sat cross-legged, guarding the formation. Suddenly, his eyes opened. He has come. A glint of light flickered within them. Unfortunately, I am not yet strong enough to destroy the formation. A beam of black light emerged from his body, forming a clone. Then another, and another. 5 in total. They surged into the distance. Tens of thousands of kilometers away, a vortex of light appeared. Wang Lin stepped out. Shu Li Guo hovered nearby. Taran followed. Then the clan. Wang Lin's divine sense spread outward. Suddenly, his eyes narrowed. A figure approached rapidly. A man in blue robes. A clone. So the one I killed before was only a clone. Without hesitation, Wang Lin gave a thought. Taran charged forward and struck. The blue-robed man's expression darkened. A spear appeared in his hand and shot forward. At that moment, 4 more figures descended like streaks of light. Killing intent surged in Wang Lin's eyes. He stepped forward. His hand moved, and the beast bone tattoo emerged. Master's withered Dao pair. The 5 clones cried out in unison, their voices filled with terror. Far away, even the black-robed man's eyes shone brightly.